in what may end up being in record numbers right now. But you look at a poll out this morning, a CNN poll out this morning showing that Joe Biden now ahead of Donald Trump, post-infection, 57% to 41%. And it's not hard to figure out why, Mika, because this is a president who all along has lied to the American people about COVID. He's denied the reality to the American people about COVID, about what they have seen in their own lives, about what their doctors have told them, like what my doctor told me about my diabetic son, what was safe and what was not safe, what my doctor told me about your mom and how we should take extra care to protect your mother because she's obviously in a risk category. It's one thing, I've said it all year, it's one thing, keep that number up, because that number, the 57% to 41%, underlines what we have been saying since March. Donald Trump can lie about Robert Mueller, as he did. He can lie about how he obstructed justice, as he and his supporters did. He can lie about how he and his campaign were reckless in their dealings with Russia and try to call that a Russian hoax when there's no hoax there. History will show that. Even the Senate Republicans have shown that. They can lie about all of that. Donald Trump can lie about trying to get a foreign leader, blackmailing a foreign leader to try to get dirt on his political opponent. He can lie about that all he wants. And Americans, they go about their lives. You know what? My 401k looks good. Economy's pretty good. I don't really pay attention to news that much. But they can't lie about something that kills their friends, that kills their loved ones, that endanger their children, that endanger their parents, that endanger their grandparents, that endanger their spouses, that endanger their friends, that endanger the people they love and care for the most. So when you lie about that, that hurts you in the polls. When Americans can see for 5 days straight how reckless you treat those around you who work for you, that's not leadership. That is just political negligence, and that's why, Mika, in that poll, Joe Biden's ahead right now, 57% to 41%, and Donald Trump is getting trounced among senior citizens who know the truth.
I know they know the truth. And really quickly, that little video he made while he was endangering the life of the person behind the camera and the person holding the lights by getting COVID toward them, that little video, Donald, is for your kids. They can afford the best doctors. They can get the best care. They can get early cocktails just like you that are still in the study phase. You know, you shouldn't have shared that with the world because that video doesn't apply to them. It applies to you. And quite frankly, as you continue and say you win, most people won't have the health care that you have access to as president.
Well, nobody will,
in fact,
actually.
Nobody will.
Yeah.
So, might want to think about that. The AP's...
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.